Hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire geek. I'm here with a quick one today because I thought I'd better cover, the Ezra Miller controversy or whatever. So let's just get on with it. And here's some intro movie things. I'm back. I've got a shorter version of that. I should really use that, shouldn't I? But what the heck. By the way, while I'm here, before we start about Ezra Miller, I thought I'd do a bit of self-promotion. As you probably know, or may not know, I wrote a book once. Actually, I wrote 3 books. It was a trilogy, but I've combined them together into one volume so you can buy, can you see that? Mercury Rapids in one volume, it's a big thick book, it's, what is it? 500 and something pages, 562 pages, so it's a bit of a tome now. Well, it's for me anyway. So it was originally 3 books. If you like UFOs and adventure, light-hearted adventure, you'll probably enjoy this. It's not War and Peace, it's not Lord of the Rings. It's a bit of fun. Tell you what, I'll read a bit, shall I? Just pick one at random. Chapter 18. As we entered the hangar, my jaw dropped. This was the largest room I'd ever seen. By the way, it's written in the first person of the character Bill Lewis. Dwarfing the biggest conference centres I had lectured in. Hovering in the centre of this vast space, the Grey's ship was surrounded by dozens of armed troops. So there you go. So that's the sort of thing you can expect. It's about UFOs. Area 51, Majestic 12, all that stuff. And a British UFO group called Cock Up. So that might give you some idea of what's in for that. Anyway, it's on Amazon. Search on Amazon for Mercury Rapids. You might find there's different versions. I originally published it. It's self-published, by the way, No proper publisher would touch it with a 10-metre cattle prod. But it's self-published. And I originally self-published it on... originally, the first one, I published it with a company called Book Booters. And they said it was the most polished manuscript they'd ever received. So there you go. But then they went out of business. So then they published it. I wrote 2 more books after that, Mercury Rapids books, through iUniverse. I published them through iUniverse, and then I decided to combine them in a single volume, and I published that through Amazon, Amazon's self-publishing platform. And I tried cancelling the iUniverse. I filled all the forms and everything to cancel it, and it's still there. So it still might pop up on Amazon if you search for it. There's 3. There's Mercury Rapids, the Thoth Imperative, and Mercury Rapids, the Mountains of Tomorrow. They might still pop up on Amazon if you search for them. But look at the page count, and the cover is different, obviously. If you want the big one, it's quite expensive, I must admit. And if you buy the paperback, it's quite expensive. It's, I don't know, if you're in the UK, it's in pounds, so it's like $12.95. So that's quite expensive. But Amazon wouldn't let me lower it down. They wouldn't. That was the cheapest I could do it. Go figure. So I don't know, but maybe it's just because it's so thick. I don't know. But you can get it on Kindle for like $2.99 or whatever, so that's a lot better, isn't it? If you can get it on Kindle, do that. So that's a bit my self-promotion out of the way. Right, so on with the show. Ezra Miller, right. I found this article on The Guardian. I've got to admit, I haven't read it. But I just saw the headline and I thought, right, we'll have a look at that. So where are we? There it goes. Right, will Ezra Miller kill off DC superhero universe? If you haven't heard... Well, I'm sure we'll go into it in the article. It'll tell you what's happened. So we'll just read it out. The actor's legal troubles are yet another problem for Warner Brothers' floundering franchise. It's Warner Brothers Discovery now, isn't it? Time to wipe the slate clean. And there they are, the Justice League. That's the Flash. There's Ben Affleck's Batman, who I think is an excellent Batman. And Gal Gadot's, the lovely Gal Gadot's lovely Wonder Woman. But she still needs to eat a few more pies, in my opinion. But she's still gorgeous. Right. So, Warner Brothers wants to reset the DC superhero universe again. According to the Hollywood Reporter, Chief Executive David Zaslav, great name, isn't it that, recently told investors that the studio, now Warner Brothers Discovery after mergers, has a new 10-year plan for the comic book mega saga that it hoped would ape the success of Marvel. No chance. All of which, the recent cancellation of Batgirl aside, they cancelled Batgirl, a movie that was going to be on HBO Max, the streaming service. Apparently $100 million had gone into it, and just cancelled it. And it'll never be released, but I imagine it'll appear on, torrents and stuff. At some point, like, remember, was it Roger Corman's Fantastic Four film that were made just like as a tax write-off, wasn't it? And it was never released, but that appeared, on the internet, didn't it? And it's a cult favourite now. Right, where were we? Batgirl aside, sounds more fantabulous than Harley Quinn executing a backflip. Until we recall how many times we've been here before. The original plan for DC was to build a universe of interconnected films around Zack Snyder's 2017 Justice League movie, featuring Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman and The Flash, among others. There were, what's his face, Cyborg, weren't there? What you left him out for? Because he's a misery, isn't he, the actor? Anyway, how could this go wrong? Well, the movie flopped after Snyder left midway through development, the Justice League one. He did have a family tragedy. Don't you say he left midway through development. He went midway through bloody shooting. And then he got most of the film shot, apparently, or 75% or whatever. And then the air dropped, parachuted in Joss Whedon, and he buggered it up, didn't he? Anyway, and was replaced by Joss Whedon as director. Warner execs subsequently panicked and began focusing on standalone movies that had done well, such as Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman, which it did well, and it's a good film, but it's not great, is it really, I mean, Gal Gadot carries that film, doesn't she? I mean, it's not a great story. The best bit is the World War I trenches part, that's it, innit? And the Themyscira scenes. Or Todd Phillips' Oscar-winning Joker, which, again, I liked it. I've only seen it once. I've no compulsion to watch it again, because it was a bit grim, wasn't it? But it was all right. And it wasn't really the Joker, was it? Really. Anyway, all of a sudden, there was less emphasis on making sure each movie helped set up the next chapter, Marvel style, and more on giving filmmakers creative freedom. There's Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. Well, not Arthur. I forgot his name now. Arthur somebody called him, wasn't they? Right, then came Matt Reeves' brooding esoteric The Batman, featuring a version of the Cape Crusader who seemed about as likely to ever meet Superman as the Conservatives are of understanding the cost of living crisis. That's Conservatives in the UK, the Conservative Party, not just general, like American Conservatives, the Tories in the UK, they don't understand the cost of living crisis. Never mind, I'm going to get political. No, I'd never get political, but the government's paying out billions of pounds in cost of living payments, to families, not just poor ones. I think it's like a blanket payment that a lot of people are getting, unless you're like, mega rich or whatever. Instead of doing that, why don't they just tell the energy companies and the fuel companies, the oil companies, don't put your prices up. You're posting record profits of billions and billions of pounds. So why are you putting the prices up? Just tell them not to. You're the government, force them not to. Or say, if you do, we're going to take the money that we're paying these people out of your profits. Sunshine. Anyway, back to geeky stuff. But that's okay, because somebody at Warner's decided to give Snyder the chance to reshoot Justice League for the company's new HBO Max streaming project. And quite a lot of people actually liked the new 4-hour epic. Yeah, I liked it, but why would it in 4:3 as square format? I don't know. People say, oh, well, that's what comics are like. Well, no, not really. The comics I've seen are all over the place, and quite a lot of them had like rectangular, frames, but never mind. Which means that film's Batman, played by Ben Affleck, I think Zack Snyder was just trying to be arty-farty, wasn't he? That's what it boils down to, which means that film's Batman, played by Ben Affleck, achieved a sort of mini renaissance after all that sad Affleck stuff. Sad Fleck. Because he did look sad in the promotion, didn't he? In the interviews and stuff, he was sat there like that. I am sad, Ben Affleck. But he's just got married to Jennifer Lopez, so it's not all unhappy, is it? And all of a sudden, he's back in the picture, namely in the forthcoming Flash and Aquaman films. Perfect, you might think. Warner's... Hang on, can you read that? Let me scroll down a bit. Keep forgetting my big fat face is in the way. Perfect, you might think. Warner's now has a younger, darker Batman who can navel gaze around his Gotham mansion and take out our bad guys. It's The Guardian. To the strains of Nirvana. You know, I've actually not seen that. The Batman. That's if that's what they're talking about. I can't actually remember. And another older one who's cool with meeting other superheroes and possibly venturing into the DC multiverse. Everybody wins. Except this doesn't tally at all with the carefully curated Marvel-style universe that Warner Brothers seems to want. At some point, the studio is going to need to decide if it wants to give filmmakers the creative reins or hire a Marvel-style supremo like Kevin Feige, who basically rules the roost and makes sure all these movies interconnect in style as well as narrative. Yeah, but since Kevin Feige sort of like went it alone, you know, when he got sole control of Marvel, it's kind of gone downhill, hasn't it? I mean, up to like phase 3 or whatever, there were other people making decisions as well as Kevin Feige, weren't there? But that's by the by. And that's Robert Pattinson as Other Batman, which I've still not seen. Oh, pardon me. Which I've still not seen. I know I should do. I just haven't got round to it. Right, Warner's... I don't know how long this article is. I'm nearly done. Warner's appears to want both, but the result currently looks more like throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks than a considered 10-year plan. The giant mess... Are they going to mention what's his face yet? The giant mess that DC has become on the big screen looks even worse when we consider that Warner's is reportedly now considering scrapping The Flash. Its Spider-Man No Way Home style multiverse movie, because it's doing the Flashpoint saga, isn't it? Due to the negative publicity surrounding star Ezra Miller. Well, there's a link if you want to follow the link. The links are in the description. Ezra Miller, has got into all sorts of trouble. I thought he might mention it in this article, but he's not doing, is it? And he's being charged with felony burglary. So, hey, they should just redo the film. They did it with Solo, didn't they? And it lost Disney and Lucasfilm money, but they still did it, didn't they? The film was like 80% shot, and they went in, sacked the directors, put Ron Howard in, and he basically filmed it again, didn't he? It lost them money, but it got the film out. And it was all right, It was not special, was it, the Solo, but it's what they should do. Anyway, or they should just reshoot all of Ezra Miller's close-ups with somebody else as Barry Allen, but keep his wide shots in, and then get somebody who's got a slightly, the same sort of like jawline, who can pass as Ezra Miller from a distance, and have Ezra Miller way down the credits list, as the Flash #2 Ezra Miller. But that's just me. Right, according to the Hollywood Reporter, there's no way to reshoot the $200 million project, which is based loosely on the 1980s comic book storyline Flashpoint, because Miller is in almost every scene. The Flash might have made sense of multiple Batmans, as it is all about the creation of alternative universes and already features Affleck alongside the original big-screen Dark Knight Michael Keaton. But apparently it's not going to be Thomas Wayne, is it, in this, The Flash? People were saying, it's Michael Keaton playing Thomas Wayne, because that's who it was. That's who Batman was in the Flashpoint, wasn't he? And Martha Wayne was the Joker. Well, it was in the animated version anyway. I don't know if it was in the comics, I've not read it. I presume it was. But I don't think that's happening. If the film does get canned at incredible expense, Warner's will find itself in an almost impossible position. At this point, we might ask ourselves if Zaslav and his team should really be thinking about starting all over again. There comes a point for every creative where you have to look at the work you've done and decide it just doesn't work. If Warner's DC really want to reset, perhaps it would be best served starting with a clean slate. This surely would be better than continuing to try to stop a franchise that increasingly resembles a late-stage Jenga game from collapsing into a pile of rubble. And that's it. But yeah, I think they should just, as this article says, I think they should just start again. Just wipe the slate clean, cancel The Flash. They could probably get away with Aquaman, because I don't think The Flash is in it, is he? I don't know how far along Aquaman. I think Aquaman's just about done as well. Aquaman 2, Fury of the Gods, something like that. So they could probably get away with that one, even with the Amber Heard, thing. Not controversy, but kerfuffle. But I don't know, it's a tough one, isn't it? They're going to have to take a loss, take a big L, aren't they? They could do like they did with Batgirl. They could get a lot of it back in tax, but they'd have to promise, never to, release it ever. So they could, that $200 million, I don't know how much tax they'd get back if they just shelved it like they did with Batgirl. But it's, it's better than nothing, innit? And such a big corporation, they've got good accountants, haven't they, that can work all this stuff out. So, but it's, it's up to Zaslav. He likes chopping stuff, doesn't he? So maybe he will do that. He looks the sort, if you know what I mean. But we'll see. So I just thought I'd address that and read the article, which I thought were mildly interesting. It's just a quick one today. So we'll leave it there. So don't forget, check out Mercury Rapids, get me some royalties. I get every 6 months I get like a check from Amazon. Not a check, a payment into my bank account from Amazon for about £1.50. So I'm not retiring to the south of France anytime soon, or the Bahamas. But what can I do? I just wrote it for fun. And that's all it is. I've got another book, by the way, called Silent Predator, which is a lot thinner. You can get the paperback on Amazon for, I think it's about £5 or something like that. But that's a horror story. It's like a novella. It's only about 80 pages. That was just a quick one I wrote and published. About a big cat in North Yorkshire. There you go. And it eats people. It's a bit of a throwback to like the creature feature books of the 70s and early 80s, like rats and spiders and them sort of books that everybody liked back then. Right, so we'll leave it there. So wherever you are in the universe, look after each other, and until next time, I'll see thee.